Hello. How is everyone today? Welcome to my weekly Wednesday chat. I'm so excited to see so many of you here live with me today and letting me know that it's your first time. And it's great to see Madeline and Lorraine is joining us. I know that you have tried, you're so glad that you are finally able to attend a Wednesday Live. It's great to see you. So say hi, everybody, in the comments so that I can say hi back. Hello, Elizabeth. And Jean is here. And hello, Debbie. It's great to see you again. So you guys, I have like a super special treat for you today. Did you open my email this morning where I told you all about creative memberships? And the reason we're talking about memberships for these couple of weeks is because my dear friend and mentor, Stu McLaren, who is the membership guy, has been offering and is still offering this free workshop. So he only does it once a year, and he essentially teaches his heart out for like 10 days, almost 2 weeks, I think. And he does just an incredible job talking about memberships. And I had a chance to interview him this morning. And hello, Janelle. It's great to see you. And Leslie's here from Tennessee. I love that. And hello, Virginia. It's great to see you. I know you're just recently back from Hawaii. It's great to see you. So the workshop is incredible. It's really, really incredible. And so if you haven't been watching it, you can still sign up because there's a link in the description of the video today. So if you scroll kind of up towards the top, there's a link to sign up for the workshop and you'll be sent to a replay page so you can catch up with everything he's done so far. But I had the chance to interview him this morning because I wanted him to talk specifically about like creative memberships and the experience that he has with creative memberships and how creative memberships are thriving. And so I am going to play his interview. I just had a chance to quickly do a rough edit, and I think this is going to work on Facebook. Sometimes they block it when I try to play a video, but I think that I can. So I am going to play the interview right now, Lorraine. Hello, Jen. Jen is joining us from my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining from over there. So I'm going to play his interview like right now. And so here we go. I'm going to give it a shot. Now, hopefully this is going to work. So you guys know that I actually met Stu first back in 2018. So when I was first reinventing myself and learning how to run a creative business, one of the very first things I did was I learned from Stu. And anyway, so we've known each other for a long time, and he came on to do this interview with me this morning, so I'm going to play it. Well, hello there, Stu. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Ann. Great to be here, buddy.
Oh my gosh, it has been so fantastic participating in this once-a-year event that you... And let me know if you can hear it. Let me make sure that you guys can hear the interview. You do. How is it going so far? How are you holding up? The excitement is off the charts.
It's been amazing. Like we've had literally thousands and thousands of people joining us live. So the energy is like, it's electric. The way I would explain it to people, it's like there's a difference between hearing your favorite song on the radio versus like watching the artist or the band in concert. Like, and that's what it's like, you know, live. Like the energy is just, it's there, it's electric. And more importantly is that so many people are taking action on what we're teaching in the workshop and they're getting results. That's what we designed it for. And so that's what gets me excited. So I'm fired up and pumped about it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's so much fun to both read the comments and then have people share. I just did my founding member launch and I have 10 new members.
Yeah, I know. It's wild, isn't it? It's like it's happening right before our very eyes. It's incredible.
It's very exciting. So I thought since I have a creative community, I thought that I would ask for your advice about how I can continue to encourage my creative community to seriously consider adding a membership to their business model because of the amazing benefits it brings to them. What would you say to encourage them?
Well, I would say if we were to do a pie chart of everybody in our community and which is like tens of thousands of people who have come through our program. I would say a good 30% of that chart are people in a creative endeavor, whether it be painting, whether it be drawing, whether it be crafting, whether it be sewing, whether it be quilting, whether it be surface pattern design, whether it be, decorative door hangers. Like, there's all kinds of creative markets that are being served. And that's what's so fun, is that all these people who have passions for these creative endeavors have now significantly increased their business and their livelihood, allowing them to do more of the thing that they love. So yeah, creative individuals in our community are thriving, and it's been super fun to watch them be able to take the thing that they're passionate about and turn that into a business, being able to serve literally thousands and thousands of people doing the very thing that they love.
But they're a little bit worried about, okay, how does the tech work exactly? So how would you just give people some comfort level around the fact it's actually not that hard?
Yeah, well, I would take a page out of my mentor, who he taught me very early on. One of the things he said was, Stu, don't go into it, grow into it. And what that means is, like, so often we think we've got to have all the things and everything planned out and everything's got to be perfect before we take the next step. But what he said was, don't go into it, grow into it, which means, like, listen, just keep it as simple as possible in the beginning. Like, if the tech stuff kind of freaks you out, then ask yourself, how can I keep this super simple and move forward anyway? And see, what that does is it turns your brain on. We're so used to just shutting our brain off, thinking about all the reasons why we can't do something, all the reasons why we can't move forward, all the reasons why we've got to wait. Instead, I want you to turn your brain on. Think of all the ways in which you could move forward, all the ways in which you could make it easy, all the ways in which you could keep it simple. And I'll give you an example. So Cheryl Hatch, she was one of those people who was not comfortable with tech. But to her credit, she asked herself, how can I keep this simple and easy? And she wasn't going to let the tech stop her from moving forward with her membership idea. She, in fact, had an idea to help preschool owners and preschool teachers. And so, long story short, she realized she was comfortable with a Facebook group and she was comfortable with email. And so that's how she started. So she had the community component in a Facebook group, and she delivered the content via email. And she did this for 2 years, Anne, and she welcomed more than 600 paying members before she ever created a members area. And so she kept it simple and she kept it easy, but most importantly, because she kept it simple and easy, she enabled herself to get going. And so my advice is, get out of your own way. Stop overthinking, stop overanalyzing, and start asking yourself, how do you make it simple and easy so that you can move forward today?
Yeah, I think that's such great advice. And then, first of all, technology today is so much easier than it used to be. But more important than that is what you just said, which is you can just do it via email and then have a community on Facebook and not have really any complex tech at all.
And, if you do down the road, add a members area or anything of that nature, just think of the situation. Now you're able to go back to your members and say, hey, I got good news. It just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. And so you just keep piling on the good news as you continue to add or, add to what you're doing. So the most important thing is to keep it simple and easy. Don't go into it, grow into it. And by keeping it simple and easy, that allows you to get going.
So you had a fantastic resource at the very beginning of the workshop to help people sort of hone in on their membership idea. When you kind of think about that and people getting stuck on their membership idea, can you just distill that down to, like, what are the couple of key questions they should ask themselves?
Well, there's really a few indicators as it relates to, is the market that I want to serve, would it be good for a membership or not? First things first is your customers. That's the first C that we would talk about. And when I'm talking about your customers, what I'm asking here is, like, Number one, are they passionate? Are they engaged? Are they buying? And how do you find these things? Well, if you just go on to Facebook and you just search for your topic plus groups, you're going to find a bunch of groups. And I want you to go into these groups and I want you to look, are people engaging in conversation? Are people asking questions? If they're asking questions, that's a very good sign. And we can see that firsthand. And so if they are engaging, if they are asking questions, that's a great sign. We can also look to see if they're buying stuff. And it may not be a direct competitor like another membership per se, but are they buying products? Are they buying materials? Are they buying courses? Are they buying patterns? Are they buying? That's what we want to see. You can see this on Amazon. You can see reviews for different products in your market. And if you're seeing recent reviews, again, that's another great sign. And so first thing is I'm always looking at the customer. That's the most important bit. Are they engaging? Are they buying? Second thing that I'm looking at are our own community. Now, oftentimes we grossly underestimate the communities that we have, but when I talk about community, I'm talking about on Facebook, I'm talking about on Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or Pinterest or a podcast or YouTube channel, whatever it might be. Anywhere in which you may be delivering content or engaging with people. And many times, Anne, even just on Facebook, we can get started with our own family and friends and colleagues. And we don't think of that as, quote, our audience, but it can definitely lead to our audience. And if I said, do you know anybody that recently retired? I'm sure you may think of people right away. If I said, do you know anybody that recently had a baby? You might think of somebody specific right away. Or if I say, do you know anybody that has a knee problem? You may think of somebody specific right away. And so when we are specific about who we serve and the problem we're trying to solve, our network is like a gateway to helping us find the right people. We just got to ask. And so I always say, don't underestimate the audience that you have, even if it is family, even if it is friends and colleagues, because they can very quickly lead you to the target market that you're trying to serve. So second C is community. And then the third C is content. Content that you may already be creating around the subject matter. Maybe it's questions that you're answering. Those questions might be being answered publicly. They might be being answered privately, and people may be direct messaging you as an artist saying, hey, how did you do that? What was your technique with that painting? Oh my gosh, what brushes are you using? Hey, where did you get those paints? Where did you get that fabric? Where can I find? So if they're asking questions and you're, sharing content, whether publicly or privately, that's another great sign. So you don't have to have all three of these, but if you just have a few of those, that's a very healthy sign that would be a great market for a membership.
Sometimes when we're talking about a membership, and of course, we've all just gone through COVID, a lot of my community used to do in-person events. And so I'm encouraging them to go back to doing those in-person events, but creating a membership around it instead of it being a one-off paint party, right? Yes. It could be the Thursday night paint party that's part of a membership, but you had that great example about how the car wash did that. Do you want to tell that story again?
Yeah, well, if we think about any type of business, if we've got a one-time transaction, the seed that I want planted for everybody is to think, how can I take that one-time transaction and turn that into a regular customer that I can serve every single month? And so the car wash across the road, it did that. Instead of, customers coming and paying to go one time through the car wash, and then the car wash hoping that those customers come back, they created a beautiful scenario whereby you can go through the car wash one time for $9, or you can pay $10 a month and you can go through an unlimited number of times. So it's an absolute no-brainer. And so obviously the overwhelming vast majority of people, they just get the monthly membership. But what that's done for the car wash is it's created stability and it's created certainty, because they know at the beginning of every month, they are going to have, in their case, 4,500 customers paying them at the start of that month versus every other car wash in the industry or in the market hoping that people come back and starting at 0 every month. And so to your point, like we can 100%, if you're doing paint parties, think about like, how do you take that one-time customer that's come one time and turn them into a recurring customer where they can have the convenience of being able to come back to a paint party whenever they want? And that would be a subscription. The other thing that you could do is like, I think of Christy Hawkins. This is exactly what she did. She was delivering paint parties. They were being delivered in the evenings. And the challenge that she had was that her daughters play volleyball in the evening. So she constantly had this conflict and tension of like, she's, scheduled these paint parties, but her kids are playing volleyball. She wants to go see her kids play volleyball, but she also, that's the paint parties is how she earns the revenue for her business. So it was always this tension. So she launched a membership instead. And what it's done is it's enabled her to serve so many more people. And she no longer has that tension because now it's freed up her evenings to be able to go and watch her girls play volleyball. So she gets the benefit of being able to teach people the art that she loves, but she also gets the benefit of being able to go and watch her kids play volleyball. So it's like the double win. And so I just think that too often we get so set in stone thinking that this is the only way we can do things. But reality is, as you have pointed out, it's very easy to be able to take a one-time service or business or transaction and turn it into a recurring revenue or membership.
Yeah. And I just think that it lends itself in the creative space so beautifully, whether you're an extrovert and you want to do a lot of kind of interactive type of membership, or you're an introvert and you want to learn over time and grow into transitioning part of that into a recorded lesson of some sort. There's so many options.
And to that point, like, it's the way in which we can best serve our people. Because think of somebody coming to a paint party. They're going to learn how to do a particular painting. Does that mean they've mastered the art of painting? Probably not. Like the thing is that if we can work with them over time, we can help them get better and better and better at those painting techniques. And so that's the beauty of a membership, is it gives us the ability to serve people over time, helping them get better and better and better.
Yeah. So a question that I have for you that relates to the success path, because I know that you've talked about that in the workshop, and it's it's really a foundational element of a successful membership. And another way to talk about it is just ensuring that there's progression. So, that lends itself also really well in the creative space, right? Because as you just said, you might be a beginner in a certain, in whether you're learning how to do gouache or surface design or some other creative practice, but it takes a while to hone your skills. So do you see that also in other industries, but also specifically in the creative space where that progression is almost built in?
100%. Like I think of my daughter Marla. She is very artsy. She loves to draw. She loves to paint. She's always crafting. And I look at her skills now. She's got so many of her, paintings and drawings up on her wall. And it is amazing to see the progression that has happened over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Well, she doesn't go from a passion and an interest in drawing and painting to then becoming like an amazing artist like that. She's working on it every night. She's always drawing something, always painting something. And her skills have progressed because she keeps practicing and she's constantly watching and learning from different tutorials and so forth. And so I share this because the same is true for the people that we want to serve. So a one-time video is going to be great for somebody to get some ideas, but it doesn't mean that they've mastered the skills. The way they master is when we hold space for them to practice, when we provide guidance and feedback and give tips and advice. That's how people progress so much faster. And so that's what makes a perfect membership site, is a place in which people can learn and get guidance and get feedback and continue to practice fundamentals so they can continue to get better and better and better at certain skills and techniques. And even when they get really good, we all know that a true master just goes deeper and deeper in their level of mastery. And they begin to pick up on little nuances and little techniques that maybe in the beginning weren't such a big deal because they were just focused on fundamental basics. But later on, when they're much more advanced, it's those little subtleties that can make a huge difference in the way in which a piece of art or a technique, can really get amplified. So that's why people stay in a membership. They just go deeper and deeper in their level of mastery, and they just continue to get better and better and better.
So, the other thing that has been happening this week with the part of my creative community that's been participating, and they're having such a great time, and we're so incredibly grateful for you to do this once a year. It's such a special event. What's also showing up for a lot of my community, because we're older, is what about a membership that's actually around our heritage, or finding out more about our heritage, and then putting together either an online book or a physical book that is going to capture a lot of the history of our families. There's been conversation around, well, I want to do that actually for all the photographs that I have on my phone. Or so I don't know if you've seen some of that pop up during the workshop. During the workshop, what are some of the cool new ideas that have popped up?
I love it. I think it's amazing. And I think too, part of that is like, think of it as an ongoing journey or a practice. One of the things that we do as a family is at the end of the year, we put a slideshow together and we recap like different pictures and memories that were captured throughout the year, because I think these are so important, where it's like, you capture the picture in the moment, but then it just, as you said, it just gets added to your, phone photo roll, and it kind of gets buried. And it's important to revisit those memories and talk about those experiences and keep those memories vibrant and fresh. And so I think it could be a practice, where it's not just a one-time thing, but it's an ongoing thing. I also actually subscribed for my parents because it wasn't a membership. I think they should have done it as a membership, but it's a similar sort of concept where I paid a one-time fee, and it would send questions to my mom about her life. And my mom would type back, and at the end of it, this would get compiled into a book. And so it gave mom a great way through prompts to be able to, recall stories and memories and teach, myself and even our kids, like, about things that have happened that we may not have ever known about. And so it was just a great similar process where it was based on some writing prompts, and then it collected all of mom's responses and compiled it into a book. And so I think there are many very cool and creative ideas like this that could definitely be turned into a membership.
I love it. I love it. So as we wrap up, because I know that you are a very busy man, I'm so excited about the next workshop, which is tomorrow, right? It's tomorrow.
Yes.
So the biggest thing is, as we sort of said at the beginning, is just mindset. It's like, oh, I have to learn how to do this before I do that. Or no, I have to understand more about this before I can jump in. Or to help me out with some great advice that you have seen work time and time again to get people into action, moving from too much thinking into action.
Well, I heard a quote back in 2004 from a gentleman by the name of Mike Littman. And he said, you don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. And it's so important because we will lose so much time overthinking, overanalyzing, waiting until that perfect moment. I think a couple years ago, my family and we were in Hawaii, and I wanted to take the kids surfing. They had never surfed before. I have surfed a few times, and I am not a surfer. So I want to be clear about that. But I enjoyed it. So we went and we hired some instructors. And what was really cool was the way in which they taught was for both of my kids, the instructor was with them on the board. And what that enabled us to do was to go further out and actually catch bigger waves. And so the way it would work is their instructors would paddle, and then they'd hop up, and then they'd say to my kids, okay, hop up. And so my kids would hop up, and they would both surf the waves so they could catch bigger waves. Now, my instructor was not on the board with me. My instructor was on her own board, but we were out with the kids. And so it was awesome. What was interesting about this whole experience, though, was I remember getting out there, and we went consistently for 6 weeks. And every week, without fail, my son's instructor, his name was Namaka, they were surfing probably twice as many, even 3 times as many waves. And I remember I was in the water with my instructor, and we were bobbing, sitting on our boards, waiting for the perfect wave. And a wave comes by, and boom, Namaka and Sam, boom, they're surfing on it. And then they paddle back, and we're still bobbing. We're still waiting for the perfect wave. And then another wave comes, and boom, they're up again, and they're gone again. And I said to my instructor, I'm like, this is crazy. Like they're catching like so many more waves. And she's like, yeah. She's like, Namaka, he just catches anything. He'll go with whatever wave is coming. And I thought about that afterwards, and I thought, man, that is such a great parallel to life. Like, because how many people in life just bob like I was bobbing, waiting for that perfect moment, for that perfect time, for that perfect wave. And we miss out on so much enjoyment and so much opportunity that could happen if we just get out of our own way and we just go for it. Like Namaka and Sam. And they surfed so many more waves because they weren't waiting for the perfect wave. They went with what was given to them and what was coming. And so it's such a great analogy for life because, listen, at the end of the day, so often, so many membership ideas are collecting dust because people decided to wait until the perfect time. I'm going to wait until I have an audience of a certain size. I'm going to wait until I've got all of my content created. I'm going to wait until I've got my members area sorted. I'm going to wait until, and before we know it, weeks go by, months go by, even years go by, and it's a lost opportunity. And the thing that I would encourage everybody to realize is that a membership site is always going to change and evolve. So the earlier you get started, the sooner you can dial in that experience based on working with real people. Even if that's 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, that experience is going to help shape the experience that you create inside the membership. And as a result, people are going to get better and better results with what you teach. And so now what happens is they get better results. You've got incredible stories. Your stories now are going to begin attracting other people who see themselves in that group of people that you're working with. But none of that can happen until you get started. And I think of Jennifer Chamberlain. And so Jennifer Chamberlain, these are her words. She was a late 50-something grandma who was not comfortable with tech, never, ever envisioned herself starting a business. But she was passionate about teaching other women her age art. And so she did a founding member launch. She didn't wait until she had everything perfect. She just, she went with it. She rolled it out. She put it out there. And lo and behold, she had just over 20 people say, yeah, I would love to be a part of this. And so at that point, she's like, okay. So then she started creating the content. Then she started, creating the members area. And at the end of that first year, she had grown from 20 founding members to 100, just over 100 members. And then in year 2, she had grown it from 100 to just over 200 members. But by year 3, well, now she's, she is a businesswoman. Now by year 3, she is comfortable with her membership. Now by year 3, she's like, she's got it figured out. And in year 3, she hit her inflection point. She went from 200 members to more than 2,000 members.
Wow.
And I share this because she never ever thought that she would A, have a business, and B, have a business that was generating 7 figures a year, being able to teach people art. But what she did do, and this was the most important, was she got out of her own way and she got started. And in getting started, she welcomed those first 20 founding members. And those first 20 founding members was the thing that created the momentum that then led to 100, which then led to 200, which then led to 2,000. And so don't stop yourself overthinking, overanalyzing all the things you think you've got to do to get to a certain level. Just start with where you're at. Just surf the wave that is coming right now. Just get going and keep it simple. And if you do that, you will open up all kinds of opportunity for yourself that you can't even see right now, but you can't get to it until you just get going. And so just get going. That's the most important piece.
That is so incredibly inspiring too. And once you are in it, you're learning so much, right? You're just learning so much about how to better serve the members, what the members actually want, and that momentum is absolutely key. So thank you so much, Stu. What's the little teaser about tomorrow? You want to give us a little teaser about tomorrow's session?
Yeah, well, the workshop tomorrow is going to be a doozy. We're going to be actually pulling all the pieces of the membership puzzle together. So this is where I'm going to really be kind of giving a high-level overview of what goes into a successful membership site that grows long-term. And so I'll be talking about the core fundamentals that a membership should have in order to grow successfully over time. And then we got another super secret segment, and tomorrow's is going to be a doozy too. So I'm super excited for it.
Oh my goodness, you are the best. I will be there. I will be so excited. I'll bring my community with me, and I so appreciate you taking the time.
You're awesome, buddy.
With me today, Stu. I really appreciate it, and I know I'll have a chance to give you a hug soon.
Yes. Well, I just got to say too, Ann, your dress looks lovely, buddy. I love it. It looks so amazing. I love the pattern.
Yeah, and we're almost wearing a similar color.
I know. Look at us.
I love it. I love it. Well, you are the best, Stu. Thank you so much. I'll let you go because I know you have a busy day. And again, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I so appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Ann, and thank you to everybody in your community. I look forward to seeing you on the workshop.
You bet. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Was that amazing or what? Isn't he amazing? He's just incredible. He's so incredibly inspiring, and his messaging is so motivating. So, Elizabeth, I see your comment where you said, thank you so much for sharing this interview, right? He's super dynamic. He's got great tips. And you specifically like the idea of starting where you are, right? Because so many of us are guilty of overthinking and waiting until that perfect time. And we need to get out of our own way, just like he said. And just get started, right? It does not need to be perfect because it will never be perfect. So yeah, so he's adorable and so much fun. He has a great personality. Totally agree, Jean. And he is totally awesome. So there were a couple of questions that I saw come up. Lorraine, I think you asked the question about when we were talking about a founding member launch. So a founding member launch is essentially just starting, right? It's like everything is not ready. And so you go out with your idea to your community and say, this is not all ready, but we're starting. I'm starting a membership. I want you to be a founding member. And when you offer a founding member to get started, you usually give them the membership at a lower price than it will eventually be. So just as an example, because Jean, I know that Jean, you also asked a question about how do you determine what to charge? Like what should be the monthly fee? And so that's a great question to go with explaining the founding member idea. So when you have a founding member launch, you're offering it for the very, very first time. So the price is going to be lower than when it's more advanced and when you have gotten some of the back end pieces in place. And so it's a great incentive for people to join it because it's the lowest price that it'll ever be offered at, right? So if you want to have a membership at, say, $29 a month, you might offer it to your founding members for $29 a month. And that price will be theirs forever, just so long as they stay active. So tell me if I'm going too fast in the comments in terms of answering the question, but that's the concept, right? The concept is that you go out with your founding members and say, yeah, this membership is going to cost X a month, but I'm going to give it to you at a discount because you're going to be a founding member. You're going to help me launch it. You're going to help me figure out what works best. You're going to give me great ideas for what should be included in the membership. They're almost like co-founders with you. So that's what a founding member launch is. And thank you, Madeline. He is outstanding, right? He's just amazing. And so I was on with him earlier this morning, and I was gonna take more time to like edit the interview and then send it out in email. And I said, no, I'm going to share it right now, right? And so you said it sounded like you were offering a founding membership or something. So I'm not actually offering a membership yet. I have a membership. So when I met Stu back in 2018, I launched my first membership. See this picture of me over here when I didn't have white hair because this was pre-COVID? So here's this, you're going to love this story. Here, let me come back on screen. So one of the things that Stu is going to do at the end of the workshop is he's going to have this amazing webinar where he's also going to talk about some additional really important and valuable information you should know as you decide to launch a membership. And then he has an online course. He has a fantastic online course called The Membership Experience. And so I bought the Membership Experience, which back in the day used to be called Tribe. And I was one of the first 5 people to buy it because I was so incredibly excited about getting the course and really, really learning how to implement everything that he teaches. Because, of course, he shares an incredible amount of information during his free workshop, but he also has an incredibly beautifully organized program, online course. So I was one of the first 5 people to purchase it because I was so excited. And I got an invitation to have dinner with him. So one of the bonuses for being one of the first to buy was dinner with Stu McLaren. And so I got to meet him in person, and it was incredible. There were only 5 of us at the table with him. And anyway, that's sort of a little bit of a side story. But he convinced me to launch my membership, and I launched my membership while I was taking the course. Right, so I got out of my own way. I launched my membership while I was still taking his program. And I did a founding member launch, right? I did a founding member launch, which was fantastic. All right, so Jean, just to go back to Jean's question about, well, how do you figure out how to price it? You just have to figure out what you think the value is, right? And he's going to cover this. So Stu will definitely, as part of what he covers either tomorrow or next Monday in his webinar, he will definitely cover, okay, here's sort of the landscape of pricing, and there's lots of memberships that are more community-based that are kind of in the $10 to $20 range. Then there's creative memberships, lots of creative memberships, some of which you guys know about are in that sort of $50 to $100 range. And then coaching programs or mentorships or mastermind type memberships could be. So I have a friend in one of my masterminds, his membership costs $1,000 a month. It costs $1,000 a month, and it's a coaching program. It's like a mastermind program. So they go all over the all over they go all across the map. So he was not, I didn't have lunch with him, I had dinner with him. And I actually had dinner with him. The dinner was actually at a live event. So he was a speaker at a live event. I was participating at the live event, or I was an attendee at the live event. And so you can imagine how hard it is to organize a dinner with him. And so I wasn't even in my hometown. I had gone to an event. He was a speaker at the event. And so his admin was figuring out who was in the audience of this big, massive event who might have been one of the dinner winners. And so that's where they organized the dinner. Okay, this has been much longer than it normally is, but I think it was worth it, right? I think it was totally, totally worth it. So if you haven't signed up for his event, you can totally sign up for him, right? Sign up for it, right? So this is the Ready to Start and Grow a Membership Business that's only offered once a year. The link to sign up, if you haven't signed up already, it's free, is at the top of this broadcast, so that you can click that link to sign up and get caught up on the replays, because he had a session on Thursday of last week, and then again on Monday this past week, and then the third session is tomorrow. Okay, so thank you all so much for joining me. I am flying to Paris tomorrow. So next Wednesday, I will be broadcasting from Copenhagen with a secret guest. So I'm super excited to be coming to you guys next Wednesday from the beautiful city of Copenhagen, and with a surprise guest. And I can't wait to see you then. And I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.